Hello everybody, hello. Second video for today. This is going to be a very quick one. The last one is 40 minutes long and it's uploading now. I can't believe it took me 40 minutes to film that, and I just continue talking continuously. So I'm going to talk about a topic that has to do with pursuing things in life, okay? Or to be more precise, perhaps I would call it creating your life. All right? Creating your life. If you're at that stage in your life where you are creating your future, you are perhaps not set in what you like to be doing in your life work-wise, or you're thinking about whether you would maybe want to build a family in the future, or you're thinking about becoming something completely and totally new. For example, say you're considering becoming an athlete or something, you're considering doing something and leading a life potentially that is completely different to what you're used to, because at this point in time in your life, you're most likely just doing whatever you felt like you were supposed to do. Okay? So, for example, you've always been good at math and you pursued a career in math. Okay? Or your family, where a family of runners, for example, say they were competing. Your family, a lot of people in your family have competed in the sport of running, and so you started competing in that sport yourself. Or say so far you've always had one specific type of relationship, or so far in your life you thought that you say you're a woman and you thought so far that you would never want to have children, but you're growing older and you're considering the prospect more and more because it's becoming more real and pertinent to you because you're of older age. All right? Or you want to pursue a totally different relationship than what you've been used to so far, or anything like that. And so you really are just envisioning your life, okay? You're thinking about where you want to be and what you want to be doing, how you want to be spending your everyday life, and you might want to make a completely new transition to something that is more authentic to who you are, okay? And that's our key word in this context is authentic. It's authenticity. You might be considering just building a life that matches up to media's ideal of a good life, or you're following a very particular movement. For example, a very popular one would be slow living, right? Maybe you are completely changing your ways. So far, perhaps you've just been grinding and you're thinking about leading a more soft life where you're working less and you're being a lot more intentional with your time. Whatever you are considering doing, the most important thing to do is to really reflect on who you are as a person and whether whatever you're planning to do is really going to represent your real desires and your real self and your real inclinations. Okay? Because you might be thinking about a future that just seems cool in your head. I am very guilty of this. I've done a lot of things in my life, engaged with a lot of things, or tried to do a lot of things that I just thought were cool. I wanted to do them for the sake of them being cool, because that's been kind of my, I guess, life's biggest defense mechanism, is me trying to do things that would just create this image of this very strong person that has everything figured out and is just doing incredible. She just knows exactly what she wants. She is very determined. She's doing incredibly well for herself. And she's just so strong. And then I see the actual reality being slightly, wildly different. Whereas in reality, I'm more of a chill person, I guess, more of a low-key person that actually prefers being more relaxed rather than being always on the move. I do really like doing a lot of different things and being busy. I would say I'm a fairly busy person. I always try to do something that aligns with my own goals of my own personal development. But a lot of the time I realize that my pursuits have just been very egoic. They've just been pursuits that make me feel good and make me look a certain way, that make me just appear appealing on the outside, right? For example, a lot of people that know me, they're thinking that I am doing like very well, or that I'm like super strong and look at her and just so inspiring. That's the idea I get. And then I look at the reality, okay? I look at the reality, which is not to say that I don't think I'm inspiring. I think I am inspiring in multiple ways. But a lot of the things that I might actually want to do might not really be that interesting. There might not really be those things that you will see online. You will see someone, for example, an incredibly disciplined person is doing incredibly well for themselves. You're going to see that and say, I want to be this. Okay? But that is not really you. So you're just trying to be that thing so you can satisfy that egoic desire of yours to just appear a certain way. For example, you might want to appear successful, okay? You might want to give the impression that you're this very successful person. And so you might be trying to do things that are just making you look successful, okay? Whereas in actuality, you might have some interests and desires that go against the norm, and or they don't even go against the norm, that are the norm. But you don't want to be associated with the norm. You don't want to be normal, but in reality you're as normal as normal can be, right? So this would probably be an argument in favor of normalcy. Being normal, not being maybe extremely ambitious, maybe not being extremely hardworking, Okay? Maybe you're not these things. Maybe you're not. And maybe that's okay, because your real experience in the world is what actually counts for yourself, right? So if your experience is very negative, you're trying to do some things that make you look good, that make you look successful, but inside you're crumbling and none of it really feels like you. And in reality, you just want to take it easier, and you might have, like, maybe, I don't know, certain hobbies you want to be engaging in more, okay? But instead, you're just trying to do things the way everybody else does them, just so you don't become normal. All right? So, this is an invitation to really, really look at yourself, really, really look at what you might want to be doing in your life. And I know this can be very difficult to hear, especially for men, because men do have the desire to do incredibly well and to really succeed and to really create a certain image for themselves, because that is going to help them attract the opposite sex, especially during these times where not only, but it's alohaza for men to get in relationships. They will want to actually, really do incredibly well. So that will be even more difficult for them to hear, to really reflect on what they really, really want. And that might not really be exactly what they thought they want. But the reality is totally different from what they think they need to be doing. Okay? So there is this version of you that is doing all these things that make you feel good, okay, that satisfy your egoic desires of appearing in a certain way, of you just putting up a front. And then there's you that is maybe a little bit more normal, okay, maybe not that ambitious, maybe you desire to do something else with your life than what most people are doing, because you're your own unique person, and so you don't need to be doing what most people are doing, okay? So the reality might be something completely totally different, and it might be a different non-normal ambition, okay? But regardless, it's not necessarily going to look like what's in this other band, okay? For instance, maybe you want to live in nature or something like that, right? You are, say, a much more sensitive person, want to live in nature, you want to live away from the city, and maybe want to live off grid a little bit, and you want to be going on adventures more and to be working less or something like that, and discovering the world around you a lot more, okay? Whatever it is, there is most likely you are doing some things that you can think of that don't, or want to do some things that don't really fall in this category of a person you always thought you needed to be, you know? And you're just making yourself much more unhappy, and you're digging a hole for yourself just so you look a certain way, just so you can get the praise of others, or get a very specific type of woman, for example, again, if you're a man or a woman, I guess, but again, this is very pertinent to men with how difficult, dating can be right now for people. All right. But as you're building your life, as you're really reconsidering what you want to do, and you're thinking about your values and what you want your day-to-day life ideally to look like, just take a moment to really reflect whether that's very different to what you think it is, and just go with the real you, with the real aspects of you that need validation. Validate the aspects of you that aren't super ambitious, super cool, super put together, and allow yourself to be messy and go down the path that is more suitable to you, because you're probably also going to have a lot more to give to the world by going down that other route and doing something different, maybe going into a different career, maybe having a family or something else you think you don't want. Okay, just really deeply reflect on these things, because otherwise you're again going to end up back in square one again, still dissatisfied with your life and wanting a way out. So it's better to make the difficult decisions now and really accept your current reality as you are as a person, and fuck the rest. It's your life. It's your life. Okay? Like, subscribe, and I'll talk to you